My name's Peter Sidwell, welcome to my kitchen. I am thrilled to be cooking with British charcuterie. Amazing, amazing produce. Beautiful British artisanal products made with amazing produce from the areas. We have over 100 different producers scattered all over the country. So there is an easy way to find what's local to you. And I tell you, from my experience, it's all delicious. And I'm going to show you a recipe that uses chorizo, which is a Spanish sausage, but made with local British produce. So it's got a really lovely story. It's got great provenance, and this dish is delicious. Okay, so I've got a non-stick pan getting nice and hot here, and I've got a pan of water just coming up to a simmer. I'm going to make a lovely brunch dish with chorizo, edamame beans, sourdough breadcrumbs, chili, coriander, all topped with a lovely, delicious poached egg. Okay, so first of all, I've got some bread here that is a little bit stale, but that's how we want it, okay? And all I'm going to do is just tear it into pieces. I'm not going to chuck it in the food processor and make sort of generic breadcrumbs. I want croutons, I want big ones, I want little ones, I want crispy bits. I want the bread to be able to soak up all the fats and flavours from the chorizo when it goes in the pan. I've been cooking this dish for years and I love it. I'm always putting it on different menus and I love it on a Sunday brunch kind of thing. It's delicious. Right, okay, I'm not going to put any oil on these. All I want them to do is go into the oven and just dry out a little bit more than they already are. So if you have got that old lonely crust of bread in the bread bin, this is perfect for it. So, pan's getting hot. Let's get this lovely chorizo going. So I'm going to cut it into centimetre pieces, okay? And the reason why we're not cutting it up too small is we don't want it to go all crispy and too hard. We want it still to be kind of meaty and chewy, but we want a nice surface area. So, cut it and cut side, pop it straight into the pan on a medium heat pan, okay? Because we want to start melting out the fats and the flavours. Okay, so we'll add a touch of olive oil in there as well to help it kind of on its way. Don't worry about the oil content because we are actually going to balance that with a little bit of vinegar later to make a dressing. Okay, so I've got some garlic. Just crush it and then we'll just run a knife through there. That's enough. That can go straight in the pan. And then chili, it's optional. I'm going to go half. Just to make it nice and warm. This just works so well with the poached egg that we're going to sit on top of it. It is just made for it. Okay, so no seeds in there, just the chili. Okay, let's get a spoon and just start to move all this about. Oh, lovely. Okay, so I'm also going to add, I've got a little bit of smoked paprika here. Not too much, just to give it, just to kind of reinforce the chorizo really. So it's like maybe quarter of a teaspoon. Okay, teaspoon of butter. Just gonna go in and that's just gonna melt and kind of bring all that paprika together. Okay, lovely. So, just let all those flavors, this is really starting to come together now. It's a very quick dish as well, which is great. Okay. So we're getting all that lovely flavour from the chorizo. The reason, you know, I do love British charcuterie because what you do get is real provenance. You kind of know where this product's come from. You know, you can almost know where the farm's coming from. And the great thing about fine food, and I mean fine food as in delis and farm shops, you know, real solid British produce, not just, you know, the very privileged kind of stuff. Fine food is where it's got great provenance, it's got great quality, you know this is going to be looked after, it's great product, and it's a pleasure to cook with. Okay, so, a couple more things. Spring onions, nice and finely shred up the white, and then open your knife out a little bit onto the green. Okay, there we go, lovely. That is going to go in raw, so we get a nice contrast. So we'll take our croutons. So they're nice and dry now. They haven't taken long, 5 minutes. They're already a little bit crispy. And then we're just going to drop them in. Okay, so that'll do. And then we'll just stir that round and make sure that all the little fats are starting to soak and stick to the breadcrumbs. They're kind of like our carriers of flavour and a bit of crunch. Okay, so we'll just let that cook away. Right, so we're just gonna let those croutons kind of soak all those little bits of flavour up. And let me show you these. I mean, look at that. That is kind of where all the flavour is. Yeah, it's just soaked it all up. And it's gonna be crispy and juicy, and it's gonna be great. So, leave those there. So I've got my raw spring onions and I've got some edamame beans that are cooked, cooled. They're just gonna all go in and warm through. So we're gonna turn our attention to the egg poaching, okay? So I've got boiling water, nothing else. I've got a lovely free-range egg and I'm gonna crack it into an espresso cup. Let's give the water just a couple of turns with a whisk and then take the cup, submerge it in the water using the handle and release the egg, okay? And that's it. We're gonna leave it now, let it do its thing. This pan shouldn't be boiling like mad. It should be just bubbling away like a little jacuzzi, all right? So if it's too bubbling, it's too hot, just turn it down. And now I'm gonna turn the heat right down because this is a poached egg, okay? It poaches in warm water. It doesn't boil like crazy. So while that's happening, I've got some vinegar. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of vinegar into my pan. And it's really important that you add this not over the bread, you add it to the pan because we're trying to lift off the flavour of all the ingredients, okay? So there we go, give that a stir. Right, let's pop our beans and our spring onions in. There we go. Let's give that a nice stir around. So now we've got this really lovely contrast of colour and flavour. Okay, and we can plate this up while our egg is poaching. Oh, looks good. So, let's just sit this in the middle. Make sure you get the chorizo, you get some croutons, you get the spring onions, the lovely fresh beans. There we go. And I'm just going to make a little sort of flat top there for the egg to sit on. Okay. Some of this extra, make sure you get that chorizo. Chorizo and eggs, just made for each other. Such a good combination of flavours. And it's got to be a runny egg, it really does. I can't stress how important it is. Okay, got a few little pieces of coriander maybe. They'll work well. Just pop those on there. Let's have a look for our egg. So I haven't touched it, I haven't moved the pan around. I've just let it kind of just sit gently in that hot water. It's not moved, it's not bounced around. It's just there. So all I am going to do is just lift that egg, work it around the edges, drain that water off, okay? And then we're just going to sit that on top, nice and gently. There we go. A little bit of black pepper on top is a must for me. And I'm going to finish it with a tiny drizzle of oil to give it a silkiness. And that is my beautiful chorizo, poached egg and sourdough breadcrumbs. I am looking forward to trying this one. That is delicious.